I do believe that NFTs are the future, and brands also believe that. Like, for example, Starbucks, Tiffany's, everyone's kind of getting on board slowly at their own pace. Our plan is to empower brands to educate their customers at their own speed.
Welcome back to another episode of Agency Growth Engine. I'm your host, Gary Bird, and I'm excited to have Eric here today from SHOPX. But before we jump into this episode, which you're going to really enjoy because he has amazing insight around NFTs and has already built an agency in this space, which have tons of questions around that, how that works, how that looks, how that feels. Please go leave us a quick review. We would love your feedback. Tell us how we're doing. You can leave a 5-star review. You can leave a 1-star review. Just leave us a review. We have thousands of listeners and only a couple of reviews. It really, really helps us out. Doesn't matter what platform you're listening on. And if you go do that and stop ignoring me, that would be awesome. All right, Eric. So you reached out to me. We actually met each other. You saw some of our content on LinkedIn?
That's correct. Saw your pod, seen fun, wanted to hop on.
That's awesome. And so you founded your company. You have about 12 team members. And then I always ask people, what's your revenue going to be this year? And you put 154 ETH. So break that down for me.
Yes, I'm one of the founding members of SHOPX. We're a bridge for brands in Web 2 to connect to Web 3. So unlike Web 2, where people earn revenue in US dollars, brands actually earn revenue in Ethereum. So as a brand, you can deploy a smart contract with e-commerce, with NFTs with e-commerce value. Your customers can then buy that NFT and they purchase an ETH. So you actually collect your money in Ethereum versus US dollar.
Got it. So break that down. Because Ethereum actually went down a lot, but then it actually boomed. It went up quite significantly recently, more than Bitcoin kind of rallied. So how does that work from when you say, hey, we're going to make this much ETH this year? How is that really impacting your bottom line? Because it's so volatile.
Yeah, so with the bottom line, treasuries are held in ETH and US dollar. So personally, brands or SHOPX can hold Ethereum or US dollar. So if we earn Ethereum, we can easily swap it for USD and vice versa.
Got it. So when you say 154 ETH this year, what does that mean? Translate that to US dollars for me.
154 ETH it's roughly $1,300 right now. So 154, around 200K, give or take.
So 200K. And then earlier this year, it was worth a lot more. So people paid you more and that went backwards. So how does that work?
We price everything in ETH just because ETH is the unit standard for us. So if we want to go between ETH and US dollar, we can, but we're personally in for ETH for the long run.
Got it. So you're keeping all your dollars there. You're keeping all your, not dollars, but keeping all your, when somebody pays you. So if I come to you and I pay you in ETH, you're continuing to hold it in Ether.
Depends on the business need, but that is the preferred method.
Got it. Okay, cool. So then let's walk through exactly what you're doing. And I love the way you broke that down. Is you said, I want to be a bridge between Web 1 or Web 2 and Web 3. So what exactly does that mean?
Correct. So what that means is your brand presently at Web 2, we want to connect you to Web 3 in the simplest way possible. So what SHOPX is, it's a suite of technologies to allow your brand to do that. We launched our first product, ReserveX, which is a pre-purchase loyalty program for brands. So let me break it down to you as a brand would. Let's say you're a brand, you're on Shopify, and we are expanding to other e-commerce platforms as well, but right now we're on Shopify. You simply download the SHOPX app, you get approval, then you get access to our suite of technologies, which is ReserveX. From directly within the app, with an easy form that can take 3 minutes to fill out, my grandma was able to do it, you can deploy a smart contract NFT that's branded to you. So Nike, I deploy my smart contract NFT. I now have a landing page where my customers can purchase my Nike Reserve Pass NFT in Ethereum or with credit card. From there, it's up to me to decide what token gating benefits I can add to that NFT. So let's say hypothetically I'm Nike. I have a limited shoe drop coming in. There's 100 shoes available. You can say, hey, if you buy one of these passes, you get a reserve spot for this shoe. Or let's say you're Apple. You don't want to wait 3 days in line for the newest iPhone. You say, hey, buy this pass. you can get access to this iPhone online. And as a Apple customer trying to purchase the iPhone without waiting in line, you go to the website, you click the product, and from there, token gating app comes up automatically. And if you have the NFT, you get access to the product, check it as usual. If not, you get rejected.
So let's walk through this. I'm a business, right? So I own a dental marketing company, and I have an event in December 8th and 9th. We're going to do a dental marketing manager boot camp, like a super niche boot camp. We're going to have 150 people there, let's say. But this is something we plan on growing over time.
Okay.
How could I execute an NFT for that? How would that look?
So what you could do is you could have your 150 original members get a NFT pass, and they will get benefits. So they could get access to special perks, like special products that you provide, behind the scenes access. So that's how concerts and sporting events are going to use the technology.
Got it. So they wouldn't necessarily pay for the NFT, but they would gain access by just coming to the event. And then over time, the value of that's going to go up because there's only 150 of them.
Correct. It's up to you too. If you want to charge for the NFT pass, you totally could. And once they have the NFT, you now have a connection with your dental marketers. I'm not exactly sure how your conference works, but let's say you're trying to grow it, and as a conference, you get access to special products and perks. So you go, hey, because you came to the original one, you're one of the original 150. You can airdrop them products. You can be like, hey, this brand is now working with us. You're part of our original pack. You're part of our original crew. Here you go. You can access this product. On the flip side, if these 150 passes grant, let's say I have one of your passes, it grants me access to all your conferences around the world. Let's say I'm no longer in the dental industry. I want to sell it. I can sell it to someone who wants it more. And you yourself, as a conference owner, you can get the royalty. You can decide what royalties you want from that transaction.
Got it. Okay. So yeah. And then something I want to do afterwards is have a mastermind, and just for the people that were there. So the NFT could gain access to that mastermind for the dental marketing managers. And that totally makes sense. Now, what's the couple functional things? So what's the cost for me to actually go and make the NFT? What would it, I have no infrastructure for it. What does that cost look like for me?
So if you're using ShopX and you're on Shopify, you can deploy the smart contract, and ShopX doesn't charge anything for you, just download the app, but there you have to pay the gas fee. So gas is the cost for a user to use Ethereum. For deploying a smart contract, that's a heavier load. So for you as a brand to deploy that, in the past, it's been around $150, but gas is subjective.
Got it. So my cost, it's kind of like credit card processing. There's no cost to set up credit card processing in my business, but there's a cost to process each credit card.
Yeah, there's a one-time fee to deploy to create a singular pass, and you can decide how many passes you want, how much you charge for them, totally up to you.
Got it. And then how do you guys make money then? Where do you guys come in?
So let's say you've successfully deployed your smart contract. People are minting your pass for a price you decided. ShopX earns 5% per mint. So if it's $100, one person mints, we get $5. From there, $2.5 goes into the foundation. We funnel the back end to help pay our lights, help keep the ecosystem going. And then the other 2.5 of the ShopX 5, we give back to the community in another program called SquadX.
Wow, that's really cool. So you are really vested to make this work. So you're not going to take somebody's NFT project on that doesn't make sense, that they're not going to sell anything.
In the long run, this is going to be open source. So if you want to try and launch an NFT product, it's your project, your gas. I hope it works. We're here to support. But in the short run, we want brands to mint out, just because in that situation, everyone wins.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, that's really cool. That makes a lot of sense. And then how does the end user? So let's use me as an example. I'm in the dental industry. Probably no one that's coming to my event will own an NFT or ever bought an NFT. I've never bought an NFT. I have a basic understanding of them just from watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. I do own crypto. I do think there will be some people there that own some kind of crypto, but I don't own crypto to the place where I have a specialized wallet or anything like that. I buy it on the bigger platforms, which I know there's risk involved with that and all that kind of stuff. So for someone like me, how difficult is it to buy these NFTs and interact with the platform if I was going to get one of these and roll it out for my dental marketing manager bootcamp?
That's a great question. In our product launch with the Mag Park, 55% of the users who minted were actually completely brand new to crypto. They were eager to learn. With ReserveX, it's a little more technical savvy than some of our other products. Like, for example, MintX, it's going to be as easy as like a grandma could use it. You create an account, we will custodian your NFT for you. But with ReserveX, you would need a MetaMask. So to the buying process would go as such. You, as a dental conference, you will get a landing page. You would direct your customers to that. They click Mint. From there, they have the option to pay with Ethereum or credit card. And then the NFT would go straight into the MetaMask. So the learning curve would be downloading a MetaMask.
What is a MetaMask?
A MetaMask is a mobile wallet.
Got it.
Yeah.
So is it just like setting up an account for like any app?
It's a simple Google extension.
Google Chrome extension?
Google Chrome extension, correct.
Got it. So I had to do it on my desktop. Can I do it on my phone?
You can. It's just much easier on your desktop. So there's a MetaMask app and there's a MetaMask Google Chrome extension.
Got it. And then I just set up my account, put my information in. What does it use to verify? Is it through Google to verify?
So when you set up your account, it's like setting up a normal wallet. So you would get your private keys. So as a new crypto user, you download the Google Chrome extension, you set up your wallet, you get a seed phrase. This seed phrase is super important because this is what's going to give you access to your money. So if I have your seed phrase, I have your money. So it's my recommendation, when you write down your seed phrase, you write it on paper, you keep that very safe. And then from there, you have access to your wallet. And it's just going to live on your computer.
Got it. Okay. And then, okay, so you can make it easy. You can make it easy so almost everybody can access it. And then what if that person doesn't, how does that person interact with their NFT going forward? Is it going to send them emails to remind them or text messages, or how does that work?
So that's on the brand. So once a person has their NFT, whatever normal customer retention emails they go, as a customer of the NFT, again, it's an NFT that you own. If you want to put it for sale, you can, but there's no real interaction unless the brand wants to interact after.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. This helps me understand. So now I can kind of frame the rest of our conversation. So right now you have about 12 team members. What's the day-to-day look like for you and your 12 team members at your agency?
I mean, everyone's siloed. And so for example, I go on sales calls, do product stuff, do customer service. Really, whatever the business needs at that point in time, I'll do. And the same can be said for the other team members. Of course, people specialize in certain skills. Like, for example, our tech team is fantastic. They're sitting all day coding. Fantastic marketing team, fantastic sales team, fantastic licensed sales team. Yeah, it varies.
And then you put as one of your goals, your 2-year business goals is going to be 130 million in revenue. I'm trying to do the math on how much growth that is. Like, that's serious growth from where you're at right now. Like it's multiple hundreds, right, of growth from where you're at right now. How do you see that happening?
Correct. So we have a couple solutions. One's going to be more enterprise based, and I can go into that more detail. But right now, we just launched our project. We had successful use cases and with relatively small brands. So as our product gets finalized, it gets hardened. Imagine getting one big brand, getting one massive pass, and minting all those NFTs. So we factor that all into a financial model based on brands we're working with, brands in our pipeline, charities in our pipeline, and all that stuff.
Got it. And then how do you deal with all the scams in NFTs? Because there's obviously a lot of, like, NFT instantly, I'm like questioning, right? Like, it's instant.
It's like,
it's like, okay, yeah. How do I know I'm not going to get ripped off? And you know, marketing deals with that in general as well, right? People automatically assume that marketing agencies are there to take from you more than to give to you. So, but NFTs is even worse because there's even more mystery around it. How do you kind of navigate that and work around that?
Yeah, that's honestly been a very big challenge opportunity for us, just because, like you said, when someone thinks NFT, like, oh, a 250K monkey, no, thank you. Oh, I've heard people got rug pulled left and right. I would say like 95% of scams. So what we're trying to do is differentiate between NFT and e-commerce NFTs. So what SHOPX builds are e-NFTs, NFTs with real life e-commerce value. So the value, the USD price isn't purely in speculation. It's how much value the brand provides.
Got it. So, okay, that makes total sense. And so you're kind of shifting the paradigm, which, and one of the harder things I would imagine about your industry is that there's massive amounts of education still needed. I know in some of the other industries that I've worked in, there's been big movers who come in and educate the masses, and then that allows other people to move in. And so one of the hardest things to do in marketing, harder than almost anything, is to educate people. once people are educated, then it's easy. I even think back of the example of the horse and buggy to car. People didn't understand that cars were going to take over. Like, people really didn't believe that. It just sounded crazy that you're going to have this thing, you pour gas into it, and how's it going to work? I have to work on it. When I have my horse, I have everything set up for my horse. That's not going to happen. And there was a learning curve that you could drive farther. You could pull more weight. You could get a lot more done, and you don't have to feed it, and you don't have to take care of it, and you don't, all these benefits. But there's an educational learning curve to that before they can mass produce cars. How are you dealing with that education process? Are you just tackling one at a time, or do you have a different outlook on it?
Short end, and that's a great question. And I do believe that NFTs are the future, and brands also believe that. Like, for example, Starbucks, Tiffany's, everyone's kind of getting on board slowly at their own pace. Our plan is to empower brands to educate their customers at their own speed. So as a brand, you have the tools. We'll offer services where we can speak with customers on your behalf, but you have all the tools to educate your own customers to get their very first NFT. And at that point, as a customer owning the NFT, you have skin in the game to go down the education process yourself. Whether you want to ignore everything completely, just like, hey, I bought this NFT, now I get access to a cool product, I'm completely done, that's fine. Or if you really want to go down the NFT, Ethereum, cryptocurrency rabbit hole, that's totally up to you as well. So we provide support for brands to educate their customers.
That's really good. Okay, I'm going to change gears on you. I like to understand why people do what they do, or what their goal is. And your why was have a nice, peaceful life, which sounds awesome. But then my first question is like, what does that look like? Like, what does that mean? Because it means different things for different people, right? So what does leading a peaceful life mean to you?
I don't know, just overall general happiness, freedom to do what I want type of thing.
So, okay. So the freedom, I totally get the freedom to do what you want. What are some things that make you happy?
Hiking in nature, talking with friends, spending time with family, fighting, self-improvement, learning.
Okay, I actually had that as one of my next questions is what self-improvement things are you really into right now? Because I know that's one of your interests.
Spiritual, physical, and intellectual, and social.
Got it. So, okay, cool.
Every day I try to increase a little bit in all of those aspects. And if I can do all four, that's a great day to me.
That's awesome. Okay, so one of the other questions we always ask people is like, how do you get into this niche? And you put, I didn't pick the niche picked me. How did that happen? Can you tell that story?
Sure. So it was around 2016, 2017. I graduated college, decently good school, good grades, all that stuff. I started my career at Snapchat right before their IPO because I wanted to see what it was like going through an IPO at Snapchat. That was interesting. And from there, I switched gears to a more professional job. This job was bankruptcy consulting, which in short terms is just a bunch of spreadsheets for lawyers, consultants, bankruptcy court, and Fortune 500 companies going into bankruptcy. And at that point, I was reading a bunch of books, getting into entrepreneurship, reading to crypto. And then at that job, I saw just how much money was wasted. So, for example, my incentive was not to do good work. It was just to bill hours to the client because they just pay whatever. So at that point, I'm like, oh, crypto's the future. It helps eliminate waste. To earn money, you have to add value. So I started going to crypto meetups, and then I actually got along with one of the people from the company. And then it's all, that was the beginning of this very fun journey.
That's awesome. What are where do you see this industry going? Obviously, you're putting yourself out there and saying, hey, this is going to be huge for the next, year or two. It's going to be massive growth. Where do you see the industry as a whole going overall?
I see it increasing rapidly. So I think the internet, social media it started off slow, but once it took off, it took off. Over the next 2 to 4 years, the growth will be rapid, but the learning curve is going to be hard. People are going to learning curve is going to be big. UI is going to be relatively for a while. And then at the 5-year mark, I see everything kind of leveling out in the sense people kind of know what it is. UI is good. And at that point, people using NFTs shouldn't even know they're using NFTs.
Yeah. How does that work? So I agree with you, but I'm curious of your vision of that. How am I using an NFT without even knowing it? Is it because it's on my phone and it's just like a QR code basically that I'm pulling up like when I board a plane?
Correct. Yeah. You go to the plane, you scan your ticket, you're in, you're like, you don't need to know how your ticket works. Could be an NFT. You're on a website. Oh, I want this product. You just click, done, purchase.
So what does that do to the industry if everybody's using NFTs without knowing NFTs? Is it just, what does that do? What's the benefit of that?
So the cool thing about NFTs is it's privatization for the individual on the internet. So as a brand, you now create an NFT. You have a direct link to your customer. So you and the customer get all the value versus the middleman. So it's just a free internet. Yeah, you control your data. If you want to sell NFT, you can sell it as many times as you want, all that good stuff.
That was explained really, really well. And I realized, like, so Web 1 was, here's information that you can access from anywhere.
Yeah, you can just read.
Yeah, you can read. Yeah. Web 2 is now we can communicate about that information in real time. So you and I can chat and share.
You can read and write on Web 2.
Read and write. Yeah. And okay, good. That's a better way of saying it. Perfect. And you can read and write. So that's social media, when social media came out, that I could interact with your content now.
But at that same point on Web 2, the social media platforms control what you read and write. So they're the ones
100%.
profiting off of, yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's actually where I'm heading, is like, and we thought, oh, this is great. Now I can say what I want about that information.
Yeah.
Except for when the social media companies say that you can't. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, so yeah, this is great that we have all this information and we can say whatever we want, except for when we can't. And then that's where Web 3 comes out, is no. We can actually do whatever we want on the web, and we are controlling that information rather than, and when I say we, I mean the end user. Now, but see, here's where I go back to. If Starbucks is taking all the information again, or Google does an NFT, don't we just end up back at square one again?
Not quite. And there are solutions around that. So there are plenty of companies building an identity to the blockchain. So first off, your NFT is going to be pseudonymous. So for example, I purchased that, let's say Starbucks, for example, I purchased Starbucks NFT. They have all that data. They can see it's coming from a wallet, but they may not know it's specifically coming from me, Eric. They just see a wallet address. So there's that. And as a user, if you own all your information, you can choose who to sell it to. So Facebook can't, for example, just take all your data willy-nilly. You have a choice with that.
Got it. Okay. So you have a choice when you're entering into the agreement, but then you have the choice of stop using it and move to another NFT. Is that right?
Yeah. So you can have multiple wallets, multiple NFTs for different purposes. So you can kind of control who sees your information. I think the important factor is the pseudonymity, meaning like there's no, like, for example, when you're on Facebook, they see you're on Facebook, I'm Eric. They see everything I do on Facebook, everything I'm interacting with that. They see so they would see my account, and then as per the user agreement, they can see my friends' accounts, they access my phone, and then they can make a web that way. Yeah. Cut them off at the beginning.
And okay, got it. And when you say I don't want to participate anymore, they still have all that information.
Correct. Yeah. No, they have, obviously, I think we both know they have a massive log. And the scary thing about Facebook is once you give them access to your contacts, they can actually go into, like, let's say you have my phone number, they can go into yours and access your contacts and then create like it's a whole thing.
A whole web thing. Yeah. It's interesting too. The other thing I don't think people realize is, like, you'll go into a room and you're pinging on a Wi-Fi router, right? Even though you may not access the Wi-Fi router, and then somebody else pings that Wi-Fi router. Facebook can figure out, like, oh, these two people might know each other. Let's make friend suggestions. And that's caused a lot of issues where people might have not wanted to have friend suggestions of, somebody they share a room with. So it's fascinating what they're able to do with that information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So is there any other topics or anything else that we didn't cover that you think, man, this would be really helpful to our audience or helpful for me to understand?
Yeah. So we just went over ReserveX, which is one product. Another product I'm very excited about is SourceX. That's more of the enterprise brand. So ReserveX is a pre-purchase loyalty program. That's part of our consumer engagement package. So you buy the NFT, you get early access to the products. This results in a 70% conversion rate. So once you purchase the product, another program we're launching is LoyaltyX, meaning now you purchase the product, you can claim the NFT, and a brand can drop discounts, products, all that stuff to your wallet. And a cool supply chain thing we're working on that I'll briefly go over is MintX. So as a brand, each individual SKU will now get an NFT. So let's say you're Nike, you upload your millions of SKUs. Each SKU has an NFT. You as a customer, you purchase that SKU. You see it came from Nike. You can sell your shoe. The NFT follows it. Nike can get royalties from that. Your customer, the person who purchased from you, can trace it back to Nike, so it's not a knockoff. So that's just a Nike example, but this can be expanded. So let's say you're working on, like, you're building cars, you're building a Lamborghini. each individual car part has an NFT attached to it, so you can see where everything came from. Yeah, so that's a cool thing coming in.
Yeah, and right now that wouldn't work because the infrastructure on NFTs is too discombobulated. But if once they were simplified, you'd be able to track every single part in the car and know that
exactly. Think of it like the Matrix, where Neo just summoned all of his, probably can't say guns, but he summoned all of his guns. He could pick and choose. So we're doing that with all products in e-commerce.
Got it. Okay, that's really cool. And then what are your thoughts on the loyalty side? I really like that. So I always think of like the simplest terms, like a punch card. So a punch card's really cool because if the business likes it, because they get you to come back, and the customer likes it because when I get there for the 10th time, I get the free, thing of ice cream. But the problem is it's a punch card and it can be abused and it can be lost and it can all those kind of things. So on the loyalty side, how does that work in the NFT world?
Yeah, so the way we're planning to build it right now, and this is tentative, if a better business option comes in, then we'll build it that way. But we want to make it as simple as a sign in. So you sign in, create an account, then we can custody your NFT for you. You purchase the product, you get the loyalty card, and whatever the brand wants to do, they can do it. They can say, hey, you're a loyal member. Here's 15% off your next purchase. Here's 15% off your next purchase next month. Here's 15% off this specific line. Or you can say like, yeah, you shop, this is your 10th time here, free access. Oh, you're a Chipotle loyal member, $3 burritos everywhere. So what's cool about that is advantage for brand. Like, let's say I like Chipotle, I like Subway. I purchased my Chipotle loyalty card. I get $3 burritos. I'm probably not going to Subway. So it's a great way to get the customer base. I now have a loyalty card. Think of it like a coupon code that's eternal that you can pass down. So I can give this to my family for all eternity.
Leave it in your will. So
yeah,
you could season tickets and things like that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Season tickets are a perfect use case. Like think of Lakers, you get the purple and gold pass, you get the season tickets, and then the cool things can come out like that. Like for example, you happen to be at the game. So if all tickets are NFTs, first off, Ticketmaster doesn't get its massive cut that it gets, knowing my part. But all tickets are NFTs. You went to the game where LeBron passes MJ in points. You have your proof of attendance, and instead of getting like a bobblehead, you're just like, hey, you're when LeBron passed MJ for 13 points. Everyone in the stadium gets an NFT celebrating that moment. So stuff like that is cool. Of course, awesome. You can get access to stuff. You're like Lakers. I'm gonna use the Lakers because I'm a Laker fan. You have your purple and gold pass. Great, you can meet some players. Oh, you have the LeBron pass. You get some LeBron merch, signed gear. That's a very simple use case.
Wow. Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, there's so many opportunities, and I'm like sitting here thinking, okay, it's getting really close to where I could actually use it for my business, or it's already there, like what you're developing, and I love that. I think that's the most interesting thing I learned today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's awesome, man. Well, anything else we should cover? Is that how do people reach out to you if they want to reach out and learn more about how you could help their business?
The best way would be to go to the SHOPX website, SHOPX, SHOPX.co. You can always email me personally, Eric, ERIC, @SHOPX.co. And our Twitter and Instagram are SHOPX Labs. That's the best way to reach out.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for coming on and educating me, and I can't wait to drop this in our community.
Yeah, and thank you for having me, Gary. It was a fun time. Appreciate it.